Welcome to Juju's story. Tonight, I'm about to tell you a terrifying story, inspired by mysterious events that could feel frighteningly real. You may find yourself looking over your shoulder, checking the darkness behind you, and wondering if you're truly alone. Turn the volume to know what happens next.
Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, we are diving straight into something absolutely chilling today. We're going to unpack the terrifying, unreleased police data recovered from a missing man's phone. And look, this isn't your standard missing persons case. It's a digital breadcrumb trail that completely defies logic. It really challenges everything we rely on to keep us safe in the modern world. Now, I want you to keep this specific question in the back of your mind as we review the evidence of this unsolved case file together. Because, as you're gonna see, the survival of our subject hinged entirely on perception. What he could see, what he couldn't see, and what was hiding literally just out of plain sight. Section 1. The Legend of Black Pine. So, to understand what happened here, we first need to get the lay of the land, right? We need the historical context of our victim's destination. Our subject is Ethan. He's a 28-year-old photographer with a huge passion for exploring abandoned American locations. On a really crisp October night, he drives out to this isolated stretch known as Black Pine Road. Now, locals have been whispering about this place for decades. They attribute a long history of strange, completely unexplained disappearances to these dense woods. But Ethan, he kind of just laughed off the rumors. He figured, hey, I'm a modern guy with modern technology. He decided he was going to record the whole shebang and document the truth himself. And this perfectly illustrates how the environment itself shifted the deeper he walked. The source material notes this profound, sudden isolation. Like the forest became completely dead silent. No insects buzzing, no wind rustling the branches. There was absolutely nothing but the sound of his own footsteps. It completely isolated him before the very first anomaly even occurred, setting this really intense psychological stage for the panic that was about to unfold. Section 2, Timeline of a Disappearance. Looking at the breakdown here, notice how rapidly the situation escalates exactly at the half-hour mark. Ethan enters the silent forest at minute 0. For 30 minutes, he's just walking in that eerie quiet. But right at minute 30, boom, his GPS and phone signal completely fail. He's instantly trapped without navigation. And then, at minute 31, just a single flicker of his flashlight reveals a terrifying figure standing just 10 feet away. The pacing here is critical, you guys. It shows a highly calculated escalation by whatever was waiting in those woods. So, the crucial takeaway here is that this wasn't just a physical threat. The anomaly actively neutralized every single piece of modern survival tech Ethan brought with him. Look at this list. We've got the environmental void of sound, right? Followed by the horrifying realization of unexplained footsteps that perfectly match his own speed and stop exactly when he stops. Then the technological wipeout. GPS dies, zero cell signal, and even his basic analog tools fail as his compass starts spinning uncontrollably. He's being systematically stripped of every single safety net. Section 3. The Camera Lens Anomaly. Now we reach the absolute scariest part of this file. The terrifying realization that Ethan's own eyes were lying to him. To his actual naked eye looking around, it's just an entirely empty forest. Absolutely nothing there. But viewed exclusively through his camera lens, there is a pale, smiling figure standing perfectly motionless between two trees. Just imagine the sheer horror of that. You look up and you see nothing. But you look down at your digital screen and you realize you were being hunted. Only his camera could actually perceive the predator. By profiling the entity's rules derived from the recovered footage, we can actually see it operates exactly like a supernatural stalking mechanism. It perfectly mimics his footsteps. It freezes completely motionless when observed. It is totally invisible to the naked eye. And most terrifyingly, without making a single sound or showing any visible movement, it simply appears closer in every single subsequent photo Ethan takes. It's slowly closing the distance, frame by agonizing frame. Section 4. The Endless Loop. So at minute 31, Ethan's flashlight flickered. Just 1 second of total darkness. When the light returned, the entity was suddenly only 10 feet away, still smiling, still motionless, and the chase began. Ethan just panicked. He ran blindly, branches scratching his face in the dark, desperately trying to find the main road. But the spatial reality of the forest had completely broken down. The source material reveals that no matter which direction he chose to run, he inevitably returned to the exact same dead tree, again and again. He was trapped in a terrifying, endless loop, a geographical nightmare where escape was literally impossible. And then he noticed this phrase carved directly into the bark of that recurring dead tree. It follows when you look back. A blatant, ominous warning left by, well, who knows who? But in his absolute panic, Ethan completely ignored the fundamental rule carved into the wood. He looked back anyway. He actually heard breathing directly behind his neck. But when he turned around to look with his naked eye, the forest was completely empty. However, the camera in his hand proved to be the only reliable and horrifying witness to his final moments. The lens captured an entity standing mere inches away, eyes completely black, its mouth stretched just far too wide. In sheer terror, Ethan threw the camera to the ground. Section 5. The final photographs. Which brings us to the aftermath. By sunrise, Ethan was just gone, leaving us with the remnants of an unsolved mystery. When daylight broke, search teams combed the entire area. They found his discarded backpack and they found his cell phone. But you know what? What they didn't find is honestly just as important. There were absolutely zero footprints belonging to any attacker. There was zero foreign DNA left at the scene. Search teams found no physical trace whatsoever, leaving investigators with nothing but digital evidence, specifically one final photograph. Remember how the discarded camera kept recording after he threw it? Well, the footage showed him running alone, until, frame by frame, a shadow appeared beside him, perfectly matching his every movement. And it all culminated in this impossible, horrifying group shot. The final unreleased photo found on his phone showed a terrified Ethan staring right into the lens. But the background was filled with dozens of identical smiling figures. And the most chilling detail? One of those figures was standing much closer than the others, almost physically touching him. And this brings us to the absolute most unsettling interactive element of the evidence. Even though the police never officially released it, those who have seen the case files and the leaked digital image report a super bizarre phenomenon. Viewers claim that every single time they zoom into the final picture, they notice one more smiling face that simply wasn't there before. It's like the image itself completely defies static reality. This actually brings up a huge debate among those who have analyzed the file. 12 or 13? That's the number most people report when looking at the unreleased file. Most people count exactly 12 distinct smiling faces hiding in the background darkness. But others swear, upon closer inspection, that they see 13. It's a mystery that plays on the very limits of our perception and honestly, our total reliance on the screens we hold in our hands every single day. So I'm gonna leave you with this final provocative thought for today's explainer. If you were to look at that photograph, how many faces would you count? Feel free to comment your number below, but remember Ethan's fatal mistake. Be very, very careful how closely you look.